Psalm 14. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way ye know.
It's about time, man, because I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get the kingdom. I'm ready to live. I'm ready to breathe fresh. I'm ready to have beautiful, pure women, okay? Not no strawberry harlots on this side. I'm ready to have children, man, you can vibe with, okay? Be around brothers. Be around the Lord himself, okay? I'm ready to go and visit places in the galaxy that we didn't know exist. All right? I'm ready to walk on sandy beaches, man, and explore the ocean floors. I'm ready to fly, okay? I'm ready to eat real food, okay? I'm ready to drive a chariot, man. All right, I'm ready to minister to the Lord and to be ministered to, man. Okay, I'm ready to worship Yahweh Shai in its full entirety. Okay, I'm ready for it. We're ready, man. I'm ready to see angels and greet angels.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
You guys are going.
All right. First and foremost, we like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Bakakadash, a double unto the proselyters of GMS, and citation to your brother Push Word of Truth and Sinful Corners with GMS Mississippi Camp. And I'm gonna let the brothers take over.
All right. So going into another weekly lesson, dealing with, news update, the beginning of wars, prophecy. This is in the driver's seat. The beloved brother Yomi came over with the lesson in the spirit. And what we're going to get into is just what's happening, with this timeline and the narrative dealing with this war. All right, which we know, the elites, they provoke, these certain wars to cause agendas to come to pass. But what's happening, all right, is that nations are going to keep piling into this war, and it's going to grow into, a conflict, to a regional war, to a world war. Okay, and what we're seeing now, they're in the phase of a regional war breaking out. Okay, so we're going to go into, the happenings, dealing with this war. Things are happening, so fast, that more than likely to be even more happenings to go into in the morning, dealing with this same narrative. So Lord will, we stay on our posts, just as, the Lord commissioned us to. Before we get into the brother precept, if I may, let's just get that in the book of Matthew 26 and 41, and then you got it, Yummy. I just want to set the foundation with that precept, if you don't mind, brother.
Come on, bro, you got it. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 41. It says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah, so we're in the time of watching, and prayer. you know, as we watch, you know, what's going on, you know, pray for mercy in these times because we hear, you know, it's at the door, you know, and the spirit indeed is willing, you know, the spirit is ready, you know, for the world to come, you know, the world Yahweh Shai is getting ready to usher in, you know, after this war, you see, but the flesh is weak, you know, the flesh, you know, wants to be comfortable in its current situation, you know, but the spirit has a higher expectation. So as we watch, you know, what's going on, we tap in with prayer, you know, that the Lord keeps us in the spirit, you know, to endure, all right, what's to come, you know, because we're in a time where we're going to see things happening, you know, quickly, you know, it's going to get uncomfortable, all right, it's going to get hectic, you know, a lot of, you know, death, a lot of things changing, you know, fast, you know, we have to be in a particular spirit, you know, and the Lord going to keep, the Lord going to give his elected spirit to be in, you know, going into these times, but you got it, bro. You got it, yeah.
You're on mute, bro.
Yeah, Con, bro. Yeah, they beautifully said, bro. Because like at the end of the day, what we looking forward to, I mean, of course, what's coming with it is prophecy. And you can't rule out Jacob's trouble, you know. So, but before you know, before we get the kingdom, Lord willing, we be those joint heirs of Yahweh Shai, you know, on the first go around, you know, coming into the kingdom. And we gotta, Lord willing, we gotta be grounded, you know, rooted, and hope that, like you said, bro, that the Lord just basically keep us, you know. And I can never forget the brother Zaquan Kazakiala, you know, the lessons we did, man. Basically pray to be kept. But yeah, you got it, you got it now.
Con, this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, starting at verse 9. It says, "But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not troubled, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by."
Yeah, so the Lord was already preparing us. You know, again, Lord, when we be those men that was backed up with the Lord, you know, He was already preparing us for the things upon His second coming. You know, already preparing our spirits for what to look forward to, what to expect. You know, and basically, what to tie to the prophecy of the kingdom being reestablished to our people. You know, you got it, bro.
Verse 10, it says, "Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom."
Yes, all this conflict in the earth, all these stir-ups, you know, which is the Lord stirring up these nations. This ties into what? This is coming in basically to, it's ushering in Yahweh Shai. You know, long, because you got the prophets before, you know, these nations even come to this conflict, you know, before they even come into this to the war or the divisions, you know, amongst themselves. Well, you already had the prophets, they through the spirit and power Yahweh Shai already telling you, well, just what Yahweh Shai told us to look for, you know, which is what the spirit of prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Jumping down to verse 28, it says, "And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh."
Yeah, so it's time. Hey, we right at the door. Prophecy speaking louder than ever. Hey, like again, like to quote the brother Elder Kazak. Hey, we always say, hey, a day closer, you know, another day closer, man. So, hey, our redemption is drawing nigh. Lord willing, again, we are the elect. Hey, because every day that passed by is always some tensions increasing. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai putting that pressure on these nations, really, because the scripture goes into it, how the king's heart is in the mind. It's like the king's mind is in the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So at the end of the day, hey, the Lord is doing His will with these nations, man. He's just moving them around, and they really don't have any control. No matter how much they talk about peace, you know, no matter how much they talk about that's one of the main things, that peace. There's no peace because they always find a way to come right back into commotion, you know. Then I was in on that one. Shot in the brother didn't have nothing. You can get that first video, bro.
I got one for you. You was talking about when they said peace. This is it's like a First Thessalonians. I think it's chapter 5. I think. Okay, this is the book of First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. But when they shall say peace and safety, then suddenly destruction cometh upon them, as travaileth upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Yeah, so eventually, you know, that peace is really gonna be for our people. You know, when the earth is at rest, you know, when the true people of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua are in power, you know. But when you got the wicked in their authority, scripture goes into the people mourning, right? But here it is, it ain't no peace to the wicked. You got the wicked ruling the earth, and then you got these nations. See, because our people are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, so our people are somewhere, everywhere, being oppressed. You know, so a destruction is gonna come because the Lord finna lay down the heathen of the heathen, which is over our people, and he finna substitute them with righteousness, man. Because Yahweh Shai got to come take out the wicked and these heathen, and that's what the earth is waiting on. The earth is waiting on Yahweh Shai to get his, man. That's what all creation really waiting on in the spirit.
You said you want the first one right, bro?
Yeah, you can get either one, don't matter in order. However you get it, bro.
Okay, come.
Now, have the US-Iran war and the Russia-Ukraine war now merged in the Caspian Sea? After tensions in the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea, is the Caspian Sea about to become the next battlefield? We ask these questions because look at what has happened. Over the weekend, Ukraine struck an Iranian ship in the Caspian Sea. And today, Iran has fired back with a warning. Tehran says Ukraine's actions will have unforeseen consequences. So what happened there? Here's what we know. After the strike, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the targets were vessels carrying military cargo linked to Iran along with a Russian warship. Not only that, the Ukrainian president also accused Russia of providing Iran with satellite intelligence to support its military campaign in West Asia. Zelensky says that Ukraine has observed what he called clear correlation between Russian satellite imagery and subsequent Iranian attacks, saying the images were used both before strikes in preparation for them and afterwards to assess the damage inflicted.
Since the beginning of July, we have recorded active Russian satellite surveillance of the Gulf states and U.S. military facilities located there. These images subsequently appear in Iran.
But Iran tells a different story. It says an Iranian commercial vessel was hit, one sailor was killed, and several others were injured. Tehran has called the attack hostile and criminal. It has summoned Ukraine's diplomats. And on Monday morning, Tehran raised the stakes when it warned Kyiv of consequences. Of course, it did not elaborate on what those consequences could be. But that's probably deliberate. Sometimes not saying what you'll do is part of the message.
We have said that we have no involvement in the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. This action by Ukraine was also an absolutely illegal and unjustified act, contrary to the Charter of the United Nations, and a dangerous act of adventurism that will certainly not go unanswered by us. We are aware that the Caspian Sea coastal states are deeply concerned and dissatisfied with this action, and the Ukrainian regime must be held accountable for it.
Now, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi even discussed this incident with the European Union Foreign Policy Chief, Kaja Kallas. And despite what Kyiv says, Tehran once again reiterated that it has never directly intervened in the Russia-Ukraine war. But what we want to focus on is why is Ukraine suddenly hitting Iran? After all, Ukraine has been at war with Russia, so why attack an Iranian ship? Remember, for years, as it has fought Russia, Ukraine has accused Tehran of helping Moscow. Kyiv says Iranian-designed Shahed drones have been used extensively against Ukrainian cities. Kyiv believes that Russia may be the one fighting the war, but it is Iran that has been helping keep the conflict going. So from Kyiv's perspective, its strike on the Iranian ship in the Caspian Sea does not open a new front. It is simply hitting part of the same supply chain that keeps the Russian war machinery running. Until now, both these wars were happening in completely different neighborhoods and over completely different issues. Now with the Ukrainian strike, the lines between the two are starting to blur. Look at the map. Since the US-Iran war started earlier this year, every conversation about it has been around the Gulf, in West Asia, the Strait of Hormuz, the Sea of Oman. And then when the Houthis got involved, the Red Sea. These are the places where ships have been attacked. That's where the world's attention was. Now look at where the Caspian Sea is. It is up north. This has always been one of Iran's safer maritime routes. Not only that, the Caspian Sea is an important trade and logistics passage for Iran. It is one of the ways Tehran stays connected to Russia and Central Asia. Any threat to trade across the Caspian Sea would further squeeze one of Iran's remaining strategic maritime corridors. That is why this isn't just about one ship being lost in the Caspian Sea. It's about where that ship was hit. Iran is already under pressure in the south, and if attacks start happening in the north too, Tehran will have one more headache to deal with. Now here's why we say that the two wars are starting to merge. Think about it. Ukraine is at war with Russia. Russia backs Iran. Iran is already locked in a war with the United States, and the United States is Ukraine's primary backer against Russia in that war. So now, with Ukraine striking an Iranian vessel, we have a situation in which there are different wars and different battlefields, but more and more the same players involved. That's why this incident matters. The question is, does this mark the opening of a new military front or simply an attempt to increase economic pressure on Iran? The world moves fast. Power shifts. Unexpected developments.
Right there, bro.
Changing alliances. Every day brings a new.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, you can see America, if you think about it, if you look at this, America got its feet in all these different aspects of the war. You got the Ukraine and Russia, Iran and Israel, Iran and America, what is it? Russia. In Russia, you got Russia bagging Iran and Iran bagging Russia. And then I seen another video, I ain't posted, but they said, hey, Iran keep on. Well, it's Russia basically feeding on into Iran, Iran feeding into Russia, China feeding into Iran. Yeah, these nations, they coming together ultimately to ultimately, how about Shem Yahushua got America in this thing for it to be wiped out. So because it's got all these what I'm looking for, all these involvements in America's messy. You hear me? This motherfucking messy, man. So it got its hands in everything. But hey, at the end of the day, America losing. America losing. So, hey, and we can see this. Why? Because this is at the same time America and Iran. Now they in another peace, so-called peace, agreement. Which we know that won't last long.
It's talking about ceasefire.
Yeah, there's a ceasefire. Yeah, a little ceasefire.
It really ain't it really ain't a ceasefire. America just stopped shooting. So America just not able to keep up their pace. They
Right.
couldn't take the damage, that was being done to them by Iran. So they just really had to bag out, you know. So ain't no ceasefire being announced. It's just America. They had to sit down, you know, because they couldn't take that back and forth. You know that they was they were going with Iran. They were losing, you know, soldiers. You know, because America report, you know, 1,800 dead, but then you got, you know, Iranian sources reporting like 600 dead. So yeah, man, America couldn't keep taking them casualties, man, because they send ducks over there, you know. So yeah, bro, it's very what we're seeing, you know, is a major power shift, you know, and what we're seeing is desperation, you know, because they want Iran to be fronting on two. They want Iran to be fighting on two fronts, you know. So Ukraine, which is nothing but a human shield for the small hats in America. They like, well, nigga, y'all fight running time, you know, to try to get some pressure off America and the small hats, you know, through Iran. So yeah, it's interesting, man. But we're seeing desperation from the West and strategy from the East, you know, just to sum it up. Because it's the will of the Lord. You know, the Lord is with the kings of the East now. You know, it was the time that he was with Babylon. You know, it was the time he was with, you know, these small hats having their way in the region. But now, you know, prophecy, like you say, prophecy in the driver's seat now. You know, so they old resume, they old, you know, record. Yeah. Prophecy in the driver's seat. You know, but you got it, bro.
Bro. Yeah. And then I seen another one. How, you know, Trump was saying basically, if they talking, you know, with him with Iran, it's gonna be a short talk, or it ain't gonna be no talk at all. But Iran ain't got no talk for, you know, and Iran ain't got no speaking for, you know. Yeah, that's all I had on that right now.
And your brother had a precept. Any brother had a precept, and then you
Still
go back
that
to
Isaiah. Chillax. What you say, bro?
Any other brother have a precept?
Yeah, I got a quick one.
Okay.
Just get to the
Okay,
point.
yeah. Get Lamar and Halak.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, read verse 1, and then we'll just get down to the point at verse 8.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Jumping down to verse 8, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace.
Right, and that's where we at, man. We're at the time of war, and we're at the time of hate, man. And you know, you got scriptures that go into how the love of many shall wax cold, because people have a particular demon on them that's gotten them just a particular hatred on them, man. Seen a video the other day where a dude was just bashing his daddy head in with a baseball bat, man. You know, and then you go into, you know, it's time of war. Scriptures go into, you're gonna hear wars and rumors of wars. Well, like our brothers going into is, you got Ukraine and Russia. Now Ukraine start, you know, sliding on Iran. You know, you still got the tension between Iran and Israel and America. You got the indecisiveness of these other nations, the allies, you know, who are not happy with the war, who trying to debate on what side to take, you know. But these are the times we're in, man. So ain't no love. It's all hate and war that we're entering, man. That's why things are going to continually escalate from over in the Middle East, and all that's going on in the Middle East is going to put strain on America, man. Gas prices are going to continue to go up. Groceries are going to continue to go up. People are going to continue to lose homes, apartments. Their whole living situation is continually unraveling, man. And that's going to put a strain on these Americans when they're going to start losing their shit, man. You know, and they're going to start getting more violent. You know, they're going to start getting more cold-hearted than they already are, because this is the spirit the Lord is putting on the earth, man. So everything going to have a reaction from all this happening, from the wars, you know, from the economy. Everything is going to only draw more attention out of people, and people are going to start getting more violent, man. But the Lord said, think that I come not to bring peace on earth, but a sword. And the sword, you know, it goes into not only just an instrument of destruction when it comes to killing and judgment, it also goes into that division, man. So people are going to be completely divided, man, from these particular nations of allies and just your common everyday people, man. And everything is going to lead to bloodshed, you know, because this is the Lord's judgment, man. This is the Lord visiting the earth. That's all I got, bro.
I think Halak had one, didn't it?
So Halak had one.
Con, you can grab me 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14 to 16.
You said 2nd Ezra?
Con, 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14 to 16.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, starting at verse 14. It says, "Woe to the world and to them that dwell therein. For the
Con,
sword..." Go ahead.
Con, it say, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe means destruction. Destruction, woe means trouble. You know, this is what's coming to them that dwell therein. So there's no place in this world you can escape to, you know, because the whole world is about to feel what's about to happen. The whole world's gonna feel the boiling of war, the boiling of an end of an era, you know. Continue for me.
Verse 15, it says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands."
And that's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing. The people are dying fighting. They might have not said it, you know. It's not really ringing in the minds of the people, but they are already at war. War is a big word, you know, and it's just gonna keep bubbling until it's total war, until it's a war, you know, because this was happening. As the video y'all played, these are war tactics, these are war moves, war strategies that are happening. Why? Because of prophecy, you know. Prophecy foretold this, you know. Why? For the sake of his people. Everything that's happening is for the sake of Israel, the 12 tribes, the elect among them. You got it.
Verse 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall be in their power."
Kind. And this, you're gonna see more of that, you know. People gonna be all, you know, switching up allies. You're gonna see people all, you know, doing all these political moves, you know, but it's all gonna be gearing towards war, you know. It's all, you know, get ready for that great massacre that's coming. You know, this is where we're in the boiling point, and everything's just gonna keep boiling as the heat rises, you know. And it's gonna keep rising. It's not gonna cool down. The only time it's gonna cool down is when Yahweh Shah returns, because he gonna light it up and turn it down. You know? You got it. That's all I had to say.
I got another one, bro.
The times when you had some. Still on.
He's still on.
Well, yeah, you said you had another one.
Come, bro, because you got into it. You had answered it. But, you know, in the video, she said she was asking the question of why. Like, why is all happening? You know, I just want to get a precept. You know, you had said it, but I want to bring it out, if I may. Ultimately, because this is what it boils down to. Because everyone asking why it's going on, why they doing this, and why they doing that. Well, ultimately, because the Lord said it. This is Isaiah 55:11. "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper the thing whereunto I sent it. So that answers everyone questions that may ask that same question of why is this happening, or why the U.S. doing this, or why they doing it. Ultimately, because the Lord said so. And outside of that, it really don't matter. You know, all the little nooks and crannies and trying to break it down and all of that. If the Lord give that to you and you're a prophet and you do that, then hey, that's the Lord's, that's what He's giving you. But everybody else trying to figure what it out. Ultimately, all you need to know is because the Lord said so. The Lord said so, and He gave you the prophet to break it down to you on how this is gonna lead up to the return of Yahweh Shai.
Done, bro. Yeah, did you want that other video? Get your pre-sales, bro.
Yeah, come, bro. He can go get the video.
You want the second one?
Yeah, you get the second video about the show.
Video, then you start getting the closing pre-sales, bro. The brothers had. You load up that second. Yeah, man, we here. You know, it's only going to get. And then what this video going into is you see even more nations, and also just to throw out there, the small hats is instigating a lot of this stuff too. You know, because the small hats, you know, they control America. America controls Ukraine. You know, and then also what's happening in Saudi, with these oil refineries. You know, is being, you know, also speculating that the small hats are trying to, you know, provoke Saudi Arabia, you know, to go into direct war with Yemen, you know, the divide and conquer strategy. So these small hats are behind the scene, and the scripture say the least of the flock shall draw them out. You know, small hats is, you know, a driving force behind a lot of these things we're seeing, but they're just playing their role in prophecy, man. You know, so they're in the mix, you know, sicking nations on each other, and also doing false flags, you know, to create, you know, tension between the nations as well. You know, so now this gonna deal with the front that's happening in Yemen, you know, which is gonna cut off another waterway, which is the Strait of not the Strait of Hormuz, but the Bab el-Mandeb, you know, which you go into it goes into the gateway of tears, you know, it's the name of that strait in the Red Sea. So this is another arena, you know, another theater, you know, a war that's starting to brew up, you know. So it's you're seeing these hot spots light up on the world map. And this is the Lord, like our brothers been going into, the Lord is stirring this up, man. You know, you got it, bro.
Hey, before you play it, also, bro, just to back you up, bro. I seen another article earlier going into how Tehran is blaming the small hats, you know, for that strike for Ukraine, you know.
Right.
So, everything leading back to the small hats, which gonna basically put all that pressure on America.
Yep. Got it.
You got it, bro.
You were looking at the Jazan refinery storage facility in Saudi Arabia burning after it's been hit from Houthi strikes, and we are indeed in world war. If you can peer through the fog here, you can see the long line of ships that are stacked up in Hormuz. Nothing flowing. Everyone just sitting there anchored as this 2-day window has gone by of supposed peace talks between Iran and the U.S., but Iran is saying that there are no negotiations with Trump at all. They do say they are pausing the back and forth tit for tat as long as the U.S. does, but others are saying the U.S. is again just getting reorganized and about to pound them harder than they've ever been hit. Now, Zelensky is jumped up and blasted an Iranian vessel or multiple vessels inside of the Caspian Sea for his little buddy BB. This is a world war. I've told you this over and over, and the sheep out there just ain't going to get it until the lights go out in America or a nuke drops somewhere. And that's usually the end game. Okay, so in this instance, we've got multiple battlefronts all over the place spilling out from Ukraine and Iran. You now have the war front of Ukraine and Russia mixing officially with this strike with the Israel Iran war, when the U.S. involved in both fronts. The U.S. involved in both fronts, and we should have never been. But it was the U.S. that went in and invaded Ukraine and ran the elected government out under Obama, stole all the gold, and turned it into what it is now. With all the prices here in America pretty much rigged compared to around the world. And you can see here drones taking out fuel stations, gas stations, left and right. Russian drones striking these places, and this is causing big issues in Ukraine and Russia. Both facilities hit, with the Houthis stepping up and hitting Saudi Arabia for Iran. This is global. I mean, this is worldwide, man. Anywhere, anyone, at any time at this point can get struck is exactly what they've shown. And Saudi Arabia now taking hits and smoldering. You've got Moscow, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait, Jordan, Iraq, all these places around the Persian Gulf on fire and smoking. And Americans are just acting oblivious to it. The blowback is going to be unreal, and it's going to be unprecedented. No doubt. You can see it from a mile away. This is world war. And the Houthis stepping up and doing this to Saudi Arabia tells me that the Strait of Tears is the next move. And it's called that for a reason. Because when they break that down and stop all traffic through there, as well as Hormuz, you will see all kinds of people in tears. Because they will be lacking all kinds of supplies that come through these two routes. And Iran is playing the long game. They know that it's to their advantage. They're beating Trump in a sense because Trump has no options. Now, there's reports out there saying that we're low on missile supplies and all this other stuff, but I have Waltz specifically saying that those rumors are false and they are ready to rock at a moment's notice. And they've got enough of whatever to defend, to hit, to strike. So there's always tidbits of false information floating around out there. But Iran saying they're prepared. They're prepared for a ground invasion. They're prepared for the whole thing to escalate from here. So as I've been saying, you better get ready for war and the repercussions of it. This is no doubt world war. Remember, in Ukraine, you've got not only Ukraine and Russia fighting, but we've seen North Korean troops, Chinese troops coming in to Russia's defense, dying on the battlefield in Ukraine. This is world war. There's no other way around it, man. Join me for the live streams where I break this down further, and hopefully things don't escalate between now and then. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, here on W77.
Yeah, so yeah, he mentioned a few things in that video. I'm gonna speak about the latter. So we say Iran had more than enough, and then brother, just to back you up, Zaquan, he said, hey, America had to come back and reload, basically, you know. Mm-hmm. So these niggas they ain't got enough. Hey, but these other nations, they got more than enough to trample upon this war, man. You know, yeah. Ultimately going into a prophecy got the driver's seat, because hey, when you're in the middle of a war, you ain't got time to really, hey, especially when it's all out war, you ain't got time to go back and reload. When you hop out from your shot, no, he basically bring them tensions higher and higher to where no turning back, no more peace talk, no more pauses. Nah, hell nah. That's gonna be it. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be it for America, man. You ain't got time to go back and reload your gun, nah, man. You either got it or you don't got it. And what? And the scripture goes into, hey, America ain't got it, man. Because hey, this world gonna be left desolate. real quick, bro. And he also mentioned he said the people won't know what hit them until what the lights off or a nuke hit somewhere, man. And hey, those are prophecies. That's prophecy. That's prophecy.
Hey, I'm glad you mentioned that because everybody wondering, about Iran getting nuked, but people don't understand. No, you got to understand, America finna get nuked by everybody. He said till a nuke falls somewhere. Well, we know exactly where them nukes gonna fall. Matter of fact, let's get one quick precept, and y'all brothers got it. Get that Isaiah 30, 34, and 5. Because he said a nuke gonna fall somewhere. Well, we know exactly where the nuke's gonna fall. It's gonna fall here to America. Everybody talking about Trump threatening the nuclear. Whatever America do, it just get worse for them. They doing the air campaign. It's going bad for them. Then they talking about, well, let's do the ground campaign. That shit gonna go bad for them. Then when they say fuck it, let's go nuclear, that shit gonna go bad for them. Ain't no good strategy for America, man. It's a chess game with every move bad. The Most High through prophecy got America in the chess game where every move is a bad move. Care how long you look at the board, you can step back from the board, go to the grocery store, come back, nigga. The board gonna be the same, nigga. When you make that move, you do. But you got it, bro.
Come, bro. You said you want Isaiah 34?
Yeah, and 5 also.
Come, this is book Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, upon the people of my curse to judgment.
Yeah, so that sword are the nukes. Okay, so bathed in heaven, which is going into the atmosphere. And then it says it's going to come down on Idumea, because these are the weapons of the Lord's in the nation. You see, the Lord allowed Esau to tap into, nuclear physics, splitting the atom, thermonuclear technology, and for these nations to tap into hypersonic, projectiles to get these missiles over here, swiftly, man. That swift destruction. So we know exactly where these missiles coming down. They coming down. It says that it shall come down upon Idumea, man. That's here in America, man. And you can get the word with it, Edomite, Idumea, all right, which is Adam in the Hebrew, but it goes to the descendants of Esau, and this is speaking of America, which is a hub, for you Edomites, man. You see, because Idumea is just a Greek way of saying Edom, which are the descendants of Esau. So we'll tell Dabu this for free. We know where the missiles gonna come down there. They're gonna come down upon Idumea, which is America, man. You see? End this free. But y'all got it though, bro.
Say this for free. Come on, bro. You want that? You still want that Isaiah 46?
Yeah, come, bro. Hey, real quick, I'm gonna get this word hub too. The brother just brought it out too. It's like they say a hub for basically Edomites. So this word hub goes into, this is a Google definition.
Yep.
It's a central point of activity, a wheel's middle part or device connection center. Like you got these
right.
Basically, just like the house of Edom over here. You got these elites. They where they make their money at. They where they keep. This is basically where they do their business right here. This is their in and outs right here, dealing with the earth. And Revelation 18 go into that. Basically, and how this place is gonna be destroyed. But man, this shit, man, it was over before it began. And Baba Kashai, you can get that real quick. Get that Isaiah Baba Kashai.
I got some. What's what the boy said? I got some for you. Cause you as a coin said it real quick. Typed it in on Google here. I said, what place is the hub of the wicked in the Bible? When you say how we know the nuke's gonna come down on that hub, It says in the Bible, Babylon, specifically Mystery Babylon in the book of Revelation, serves as the ultimate symbolic hub and epicenter of global wickedness, idolatry, and opposition to the Most High.
Yep. So when you go into it, because when you see a lot of that money, a lot of the world's wealth goes through American banks. That SWIFT banking system. That's why these nations had to form another, way of doing business outside of America, because America was able to put sanctions on these nations because all that money flew through America. All that oil money that comes from, those Persian Gulf nations, Oman, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, Qatar, Iran, all those nations, their money goes through those banks in New York. And then America is what? The cultural hub of the earth. America sets the culture standard of the earth, man. You see? So yeah, that's when the nukes gonna come down. It's gonna come down on the hood. The beautiful job brothers, went into that. Y'all got it.
What was that precept you wanted, y'all? I think you're on mute, bro.
Yeah, Baba Kashaya, get that Isaiah.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 46, verse 9 to 10. It said, remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High. There is none else. I am the Most High. There is none like me.
Yeah, even though Esau try to make himself out to be like the Most High, he can't. Because shit, you like a speck if you think about it, man. You can't even compare yourself to the Most High. Not the very little, but you got it, bro.
Verse 10, it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand. So like, go ahead.
No. Yeah, you got it. You can finish.
It says, declaring the end, verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure.
Yeah, so the pleasure of the Lord is basically bring down America. It's all prophecy. Ultimately, give the kingdom over to Yahweh Shah, who's sitting at the right hand of the Most High, waiting. Yahweh Shah waiting to get down on these heathen, man. Because the Lord, what the Lord say, he about to make them his footstool, man. Because again, just the point I just tried to going into, well, basically, they not like the Most High. The Most High, he sat back and he ruled in the kingdom of these different nations, and he brought them down, lifted one up, brought them down, lifted one up. Hey, America's the youngest out of all of them. Even when you're going back into I'm gonna say America, the youngest out of all of them, but the Edomites, they the youngest of all nations. America, it's a kingdom short-lived, man. If you think about it, it's a kingdom short-lived, but it's the most proudest, because the scripture could declare him what most proud.
Yeah, America, the youngest empire. When you look at all the other empires that have been in the earth, because Moab had empires that goes back thousands of years, Haman, even like Iran, dealing with the Persians, So when you look at, amongst these current empires that have been, like you say, bro, America's the youngest one, 250 years old is young, to be a civilization. You got these civilizations that go back thousands of years, mainly, like I say, with Moab, Ammon, Iran, Elam. They got civilizations go way back. That's why China, one of those China billionaires, he told this reporter, he said, look, we survived, 3,000 years before America, and they were talking about, well, what if, America take back their market or whatever. He like, man, we survived 250 years before America, man. You know, but yeah, they're a young empire and they proud, you know, like the young empire think they got it all figured out, you know, go out there and get their ass whooped, man. You see, you got it, bro.
You a baby.
I got
Yeah.
this one for you, bro.
If the brothers got y'all, a lot of y'all got some.
Yeah, I got another quick one.
Uh,
I mean,
Let's
mine.
get to it.
Okay, let's swing it around.
The book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 6 down to verse 11. Because y'all brother was speaking on that hub being America, as well as that swift destruction, man. You know, of course, this going into the missiles, but just to sum it up, you know, how, you know, everything that's going on over the Middle East, eventually everything is going to be pointing at America when it comes to those missiles, man. So Babylon is going to get her just due. And everything that's happening is building all up by way of prophecy for this to happen. You got it, bro.
Con, this is the book of Joel, chapter 2, starting at verse 6. It says, before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the walls like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
Keep going.
Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
So when the Lord allowed the missiles to be shot over to America, man, they're gonna be in their perfection. None are gonna miss their ranks. They're not gonna bump into each other, and every last one are gonna hit their designated area because they're gonna be guided by the Spirit, man. So it's gonna be a strike of perfection when the missiles come to America. You got it, bro.
Mm-hmm. If I may, bro, it says, and they shall fall upon the sword. You know, that's another direct hit. Who's Esau's sword, you know, going through the earth right now? That's America. Verse 9.
That's talking about those missile defense systems. When it says when they shall fall upon the sword, that means those missile defense systems that's going to be shot to try to intercept them. It says when they fall upon that sword, they shall not be wounded. So the missile defense system is going to be useless against all them incoming missiles.
Well, Nicky, verse 9, it's the water, bro. It says they shall run to and fro in the city, and they shall run upon the wall, and they shall climb up upon the houses, and they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
Right? Because when these thermonuclear missiles hit, you know, in its perfection, and you have that nuclear blast, all the radiation, all the dust and debris, it's going to blot out the shining of the moon and the stars, man. It's going to just be complete darkness, you know? And that's going to have people, the ones who, you know, don't just be eradicated from the jump, you know, they're going to have that fear coming through their heart before their destruction, man. Mm-hmm. You got it, bro.
Verse 11, it says, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp shall be very great, for he is strong that executed his word, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it?
Right. And you know, anyone that's in America, Babylon the Great, you know, are going to be destroyed, man. They're going to be put to death. No one is going to survive this landmass with 10 toes down, man. They're going to be completely eradicated. You know, that's why the scriptures say the elect is scarce to be saved, man. But when the Lord deliver his elect, man, you know, it's going to be like, damn near, you know how you can damn near slam your hand in the car door and you pull your hand back, but you can damn near feel like it touched it. You know, that's just how, you know, saying close of deliverance going to be when it comes to the nuclear destruction, man, by missing it, man. But the people that remains who don't be eradicated from that moment of impact, that suffering of the mind before their destruction is going to happen, man, because everybody's going to be destroyed in America. You know? But that doesn't go into how your brother was speaking about that hood and that swift destruction, man, is coming to America. Because this is ground zero, Esau Edom wickedness. That's all I got, bro.
Bro. Don't you had a lot?
Kind. Basically, mine's pretty much line back with Lamar's precept. You can give me Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11.
This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates.
Kind. What? That's America. You know, this when this place is hit, it's gonna be defenseless, straight naked. You know, everyone shall land on their mark. You know, ain't none gonna miss. That's the precept y'all got earlier. It's not gonna break rank. It's not gonna be destroyed. Ain't not gonna be able to stop it, because this is a judgment of Yahweh Shai. You know, every one of them is gonna land. Every one of them is gonna make their mark. You know, this place, the Lord is gonna make sure this place is defenseless. You know, that's gonna be through what? These wars, America's gonna exhaust themselves. America's gonna be exhausted themselves. It's gonna be like that character with zero health left, one hit and you're through. You know, you got it.
Yeah. And when you go into that, which we can use this for, you can use it for America, but ultimately it's talking about the land of Israel when you go into this prophecy, Ezekiel 38 and 11. Now, this can be used for America because it's going to be unwalled villages in the same nation that's going to destroy, all right, Israel is going to rain missiles on Israel. The same nation going to rain missiles on America as well. But that's why the Lord got America. When you look at the end, what they call the NDAA, you know, the National Defense, you know, Authority Administrative, where it combines America and the small heads militaries together, you know. So these nations know they got to take both of these motherfuckers out at the same time. So they're going to be taking out, you know, the state of Israel and America, you know. But Ezekiel 38 is speaking of the invasion going into these small hats, you know. But verse 11 can be applied to America being an unwalled village as well. It's going to be defenseless against, you know, this onslaught, you know. But y'all got it, bro.
That was it on that.
Okay, come on. Y'all, you had something to close out with?
Yeah, come on, bro. Just a statement real quick. So what we're looking forward to is we're looking forward to commotion, you know. We're looking forward to these heathens in basically in conflict, because Yahweh Shai said this was going to be one of those statements. Basically, if you think about it, this is like a statement that he's making by using these heathen before his coming. So we could basically end off with that. I think it's Amos. We're looking forward to. Let me get that real quick. Basically,
what is it?
Let's see. It's that precept that goes into the establishment of Israel. the two angels, you know, the prophecy of angels. So I think it's Amos. What is it? 1. It's Acts. Go to the book of Acts. I think it's Acts 1 and I think it's 8 if I'm not mistaken.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Acts 1. And
I think it's like 1 and 6.
Yep, it's 6. Yep. Yeah, you can get it down to about 8, Babakasha.
Oh yeah, good. I got you, bro. This is the book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 6. It says, and when they therefore will come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord Yahweh Shai, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom unto Israel? And he said unto them, no, that red letter. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times nor or the seasons which the Father Yahweh hath put in his own power, but ye shall receive power after that the Ruach HaKodesh is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth.
Yes, and this is what's happening now. It's a transition of powers. You can see that Esau falling, he losing it. You know, basically you can see that the devil really winging it. You know, so he trying to make like shit. He still got it, but he ain't got it. Yahweh Shai is already, the shift has started. You know, and it started when the prophets came upon the scene, man. You know, so this devil, his time is about up, and we telling this devil through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, his time is about up. It's about to rest. It's about to be a restoration for the true people of the Lord, man. And they're not it. But hey, that's all I had, bro. End of that.
You know, so we'll end it there. You know, point been made. All right, information came out. You know, Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters was edified. You know, so once again, we'll give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hope of the Shalom.
Shalom.